starting pro se, and when you first started, between Assistant Prosecutor Burling and myself, you ran us through the mud a little bit.
Did you hear that? That was Geauga County criminal investigator Richard Warner, where he says that I ran Assistant Prosecutor Burling, Assistant Prosecutor Nicholas Burling with the Geauga County Prosecutor's Office, and I ran him through the mud. I ran him through the mud for several reasons, and we're going to get into this.
And bring these issues to Mr. Flays himself.
He is going to, I can't speak for the prosecutor himself, but I can say that he is trusting and he has hired assistant prosecutors that understand and can interpret the law correctly. If Nick Burling has reviewed the information that you have provided, which I know that he has, and he is not going to present it to a grand jury, I don't know that anything more unless there is some level of for the plaintiff, because that at least shows some merit to the case that maybe we can take it up to a criminal level.
So my question to you is, so when somebody commits perjury, which is a submission of a false statement in a court document, and they submit false and fraudulent statements and commit fraud upon the court, that's not a criminal investigation?
Could be.
So, the Geauga County Prosecutor, James Flays, has hired assistant prosecutors to do the work of the prosecutor's office. I have brought forth with evidence claims of that defendants in a case in Geauga County Court of Common Pleas, case number 21P000753, were committed extrinsic fraud or fraud upon the court and committed perjury at the 11th District Court of Appeals. I brought this information to the Geauga County Prosecutor's Office, and what you just heard was that Nick Burling, Assistant Prosecutor Nicholas A. Burling, has reviewed my case. And unless I get a judgment in my favor for the plaintiff, then that would show some merit to the case. But we must note that the Geauga County Court of Common Pleas has a history of the judges being corrupt. As a matter of fact, in a 23 case, the Geauga County Court of Common Pleas, Wesley Redding versus United States Parachute Association, case number 23P000619. The judge, Carolyn J. Paschke, admitted in a court document on September 11th, 2024, that she made an inappropriate decision in that case. Wow. But yet, the prosecutor's office wants a crooked court and a crooked judge to get a judgment in my favor. Yeah, that's never going to happen. And this is why I put Assistant Prosecutor Nicholas Burling through the mud all over my YouTube channel.
So if the judge says, okay, there's nothing here, then what? Even when I have it under oath in the audio from the court recordings and can prove it with the emails and the evidence that I have, then what?
I can't force
I understand.
Prosecutor to.
Well, that's why that's why I'm asking to maybe go to speak to his boss, which is and bring these issues to Mr. Flays himself.
He is going to. I can't speak for the prosecutor himself, but I can say that he is trusting and he has hired assistant prosecutors that understand and can interpret the law correctly. That's why he has them here, because they represent the office. So, if Nick Burling has reviewed the information that you have provided, which I know that he has, and he is not going to present it to a grand jury, I don't know that anything more unless there is some level of for the plaintiff, because that at least shows some merit to the case that maybe we can take it up to a criminal level.
All right, I am going to play now some clips that were taken from November 14, 2024 during a actual trial, bench trial in the Geauga County Court of Common Pleas, case number 23P000619, Reading versus United States Parachute Association.
Unless a judge or a magistrate confers that we talked about, fraud upon the court, we talked about perjury, we talked about a lot of criminal things.
There were concerns that you had brought up during our conversation. Yeah.
This case is about judgments obtained by way of fraud. And what you're saying is, until a judge or this court determines that judgments were obtained by way of fraud, then that could lead a swing factor into bringing forth criminal charges, correct?
If you're asking me if a...
I'm just asking you, is that your voice?
Let him answer now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If you're asking me if a criminal investigation could go forward based off of a judgment entry or from the presiding judge or magistrate requesting the prosecutor's office to investigate something, yes, criminal charges could come from that. I don't know the circumstances related to this whole process of why we're here. But yes, if a judge were to say, yes, we believe that there was some type of criminal activity, and yes, we want the prosecutor's office to look at it, then yes, we could investigate that as a crime.
You've already made it very painfully clear that you believe there was fraud in this case.
So, I made it painfully clear there was fraud that ran rampant in the Geauga County Court of Common Pleas with my evidence. But Assistant Prosecutor Nicholas A. Burling with the Geauga County Prosecutor's Office failed to investigate that. Or didn't want to investigate that because it probably could have implicated his judge that he uses to prosecute their felony cases. That's a problem, folks. I made it painfully clear there was fraud in the Geauga County Court of Common Pleas with my evidence. Painfully clear. But this asshat, Nicholas A. Burling, doesn't want to look into it. Instead, what he does next, we're going to get into a letter that he wrote to the Chardon Police Department. Basically, if I continued my allegations of fraud or fraud upon the court, that he was going to bring forth malicious prosecution against me and subject me to criminal liability, and let's get into that next.
You're going to the Chardon Police Department. They're taking your information, they're documenting it, but it doesn't seem like you're getting a whole lot out of it, correct? You're not getting what the expectations of what you're...
I'm happy with they said they were going to submit it to your office for criminal review.
And prior to that, you had other issues that you had brought to the attention of the prosecutor's office, including Nick Burling, right? And he told you that it was a civil issue?
That's correct.
Okay.
So, I had brought, prior to me bringing forth perjury and fraud, I had brought forth some other issues to Assistant Prosecutor Nicholas Burling. And as I had just mentioned, the Geauga County Court of Common Pleas Judge Carolyn J. Paschke is corrupt. And the prosecutor's office back the judge Carolyn J. Paschke because she does a lot of the county's felony cases. So this Assistant Prosecutor Nicholas A. Burling, I brought forth some previous issues, and Then I brought forth issues of perjury, of fraud that ran rampant in the Geauga County Court of Common Pleas. But because I brought forth these previous issues, which he claimed to be a civil issue, that actually turned criminal, he was unwilling to look further into this. Now, I get it. It's a civil issue. The prosecutor's office doesn't represent residents or citizens of the county that they are, they only do practically criminal. But it is possible that a civil case in a court of law could turn criminal when either party submits false and fraudulent material facts. They get judgments obtained in their favor based on those false, fraudulent material facts. And that is what they call extrinsic fraud, folks, outside of the pleadings. And when they knowingly submit these false and fraudulent facts, that's fraud. And that's obtaining judgments by way of fraud, and that is fraud upon the court. Something the prosecutor's office, including all assistant prosecutors, including Nicholas A. Burling, should look into, but they did not. And that is one of the reasons, amongst many, that I ran him and criminal investigator Richard Warner through the mud. And Richard Warner, if you're listening, you must be noted. It must be noted that you are practically a pawn in this matter. I know you don't have any authority, and you can only do what you are told to do by the prosecutors. Folks, this is a serious issue here in Geauga County, home of the good old boys. Let's play some more clips, and I'm going to get into next the letter that the prosecutor's office and Nicholas Burling tried to maliciously or threaten malicious prosecution. Okay, so I have this letter here, and it is dated August 11th, 2023, and it says, report regarding incidents Tom 22-3726 and Tom 23-3007. These are Chardon police report numbers. And in this letter, Nicholas Burling starts off with, Dear Officer Fidacio, please advise that I have received and reviewed the above mentioned reports along with all supporting documentation provided to you by the Chardon Pro Se, which is me, Wesley Redding. But in this letter here, it just says my name, Wesley Redding. Okay. Next paragraph says, I also note that Redding has been emailing our office frequently since February of 2021 regarding his lawsuit against the United States Parachute Association, Cleveland Skydiving, and others. I have responded to this email twice, and once to answer his question about how to go about making a police report, and once to respond to allegations of perjury he was making. Okay, now, a couple paragraphs later, he says, now I have also gone to the media, claiming that our investigator said our office was investigating the court and various defendants in his civil lawsuit for crimes. This claim seems to indicate our office believes there is a basis for his claims. This is not true. Our investigator simply said we would review the case when it came up to us. Next paragraph, after he says that I have went to the news media, he then states, now I have had a chance to review the entirety of the file of these cases. I can confirm that Redding's claims of criminal activity are wholly baseless. I will go through each of these crimes he alleges has occurred. Then he goes through the crimes, perjury, revised code 2921.11, security writings by deception, revised code 2913.43, obstructing official business, Revised Code 2921.31, obstruction of justice, Revised Code 2921.32, tampering with evidence, Revised Code 2921.12, theft regarding Revised Code 2913.02, tampering with records, Ohio Revised Code 2913.42, and so forth. Okay? At the end of this determination letter, this is what he said, and this is where the malicious prosecution comes into play. There exists absolutely no basis for criminal charges in this case. Nothing Redding has alleged supports a finding of wrongdoing on the part of the defendant or the court in his civil suit. I would note that in Redding's written statement, he makes many baseless claims that are contradicted by other evidence he has provided you. He also selectively quotes court filings and decisions in a way that misleads the reader to believe that the document says something it does not. Now, here is where he goes to, in his letter, he uses his Ohio Revised Code to basically intimidate me. And this is what it said. Pursuant to Revised Code 2921.13A3, no person shall knowingly make a false statement when any of the following applies. The statement is made with purpose to mislead a public official in performing the public office official's official function. You may want to advise Redding that if he chooses to continue making these false claims to the police and prosecutor's office, he may be exposing himself to potential criminal liability. Assistant, signed, sincerely, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Nicholas A. Burling with the Geauga County Prosecutor's Office. And again, this letter was sent on August 11th of 2023. And this is exactly why I ran Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Nicholas Burling through the mud. And I will continue to run Assistant Prosecuting Attorney through the mud. And this is the mobster life. This is what mobsters do. They flip the script back onto the regime, the prosecutor's office. And I still remain a free man. And I'm not in a set of bracelets. And I'm here giving you my podcast. I'm here and speaking loudly. And I'm here and my feed is not being cut. This feed, this podcast, and this is important, folks, malicious prosecution in Geauga County, Ohio. Home of the good old boys. And yee-haw, we got Boss Hog and Rascal Pico Train at the helm. As they continue, 3 years later, they continue to try to hang me. And they're continuing to try to hang me because of I'm trying to run them through the mud and affect all their cushy careers. I am the most watched, the most seen, and the most hunted in Geauga County. So make sure that you follow my podcast. You can also follow my content on Facebook at the Chardon Prose. You can also follow my YouTube channel, the Chardon Prose, where I put all of this in an open forum for all of Geauga County, for all of the United States of America, and for all of the state of Ohio residents to see and citizens to see. This is how I fight. This is how I stand up to the corruption. And this is how I stand up to malicious prosecution by an assisting prosecuting attorney.